Hi guys, I'm Raven Alexis and this is my story. I felt like I needed to share this story because I know that there's someone out there who can relate but just afraid to tell their story. So hopefully by the end of this video, I can give you the strength and the courage to tell your story. It all started off in middle school. I was going through a time where I was very depressed at such a young age. And believe it or not, that is very common around that age, 12, 13 years old. Kids seem to feel like the world is caving down on them and they don't have anyone to talk to and stuff like that. And I was going through some of the same things. In middle school, I felt like I couldn't be myself. I had to lie about who I was, about where I come from. I had to lie about a lot of things. I grew up in a home with a single father. My daddy had 3 girls and 1 boy. And in our household, my daddy was raising 2 of his girls. And he was doing this on his own, Growing up, I watched my daddy go through women, like, a lot. And the closest to a mother figure that we had close by was my grandmother and my aunties. But my grandmother and my daddy was one of our main providers, because if my daddy didn't have it, my grandma was always right behind them, And it's the same with my aunties, but my grandma was always that rock. I felt like she kept everything together. And in this story, I will let y'all know about how I felt after she passed and stuff like that. So I want to start off by saying I'm coming to y'all raw and uncut. Like, I tried to record this video several times. I had a face full of makeup, did something to my hair. I had a whole different outfit on a couple minutes ago trying to record it. But then I just thought, like, I just want to come to y'all real, because I want to show my true feelings of how I felt about each story I'm about to tell y'all about that really drew me into my depression stage and really affect me on how I feel today about certain things. Because I feel like if I don't share these stories, then I will never overcome the problem. Like, I will never be able to become better, because believe it or not, it still affects me to this day. Like, I just want to let go of all that hurt in the past so I can become a new person, and that's what I'm trying to do. So just listen up. So in middle school, about my 7th grade year, my grandmother passed away, and her death really took a toll on me. The day that I found out, I took it the hardest. It's like somebody had ripped a piece of me out of me. I don't know if y'all understand. Like, it's like somebody took something that was so precious to me from me, and it's like drew me insane, basically. But it was like a silent insane, because I never really told nobody how I felt about it. Of course they seen me hurting the day that I found out, but after that, it's like I tried to hold it together. I put on this front like I had it together. And I was only, 12 and 13 years old, like, trying to hold it together, trying to show that I wasn't going through nothing, knowing that I was. I was dealing with a lot in school at the time, too, because I was being bullied a lot. I didn't open my mouth about the bullying and people calling me names and, but I felt like the bullying came because I felt like I couldn't be true to who I was. I had to lie about who I was and where I come from, and I had to lie about a lot of things, like, just to fit in, just so I can have friends, just so I can feel like I'm worth it. I'm worth to have friends, and I just wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't want to be different. I wanted to be like everybody else. So I lied about certain things, and I regret it now, because it's like, lying one time, you have to keep covering up a lie after a lie after a lie, and it just doesn't feel it's not a good feeling at all. Because you gotta lie about who you are. It's not a good feeling. So I was dealing with that, and then on top of that, I was dealing with her death, like trying to overcome the pain, and it just wasn't happening for me. I felt like it wasn't working. Whatever I was trying to do, it wasn't working. Like every day, oh, excuse me, every day I thought about it. Every day I thought about her death. Every day I thought about all the problems that I was having. Like I couldn't overcome it for some reason. So during that time, like I was in a house a lot. I stayed to myself and all kind of stuff. So I want to say about 3.5 weeks later, after my grandma passed away, I was at home alone, and my dad was at work, and my sister was out with her friends, and I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up to someone touching on me. First in my head, I'm thinking, well, it's just my brother, you know. He probably, because my little brother, he liked to, when he sleep with you, like he liked to rub on you for him to go to sleep and stuff like that. But the area where I felt somebody touching me, and I'm like, it can't be. So I opened up my eyes, and my head was underneath the covers, and I see this big bright hand rubbing my leg, rubbing on my vagina area, and it really freaked me out. Like I started to panic silently. I started to panic underneath the cover. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't know who this is, you know. I don't recognize the hand. I'm not understanding what's going on. Like everything going through my mind. And I didn't want to make any sudden moves because I didn't know if he was gonna try to pin me down, hurt me, anything. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do, Raven? Like, you need to think about what you're gonna do, like how you gonna get yourself out of this situation. Like everything is going through my head at this time. So I moved my leg slightly, and he hurried up and he jerked his hand back. And I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, he stopped, so let me just get up. Then I kept talking to myself. I'm like, no, I'm not just about to get up. Then he'll know that I know. And I'm like, everything is going through my head. So he put his hands underneath the covers again. He reached back into the area where he was rubbing it. I instantly felt like I started to get very nervous. I didn't know if I was going to get myself out of this situation. I didn't understand what was going to happen next. And then I came to the conclusion that I was just going to get up and act like I was stretching. So I got up and I started acting like I was stretching, and the covers were still over my head. I was afraid to take the covers off of my head because I'm like, I don't want to see who this is. I don't want to see who it is. I took the cover over my head, and when I saw who it was, it's like my heart just dropped. I was confused. I didn't understand like what was going on. But I started yawning, acting like, you know, I was just getting up and stretching. He was like, did I wake you? I was like, no. He was like, you sure I didn't wake you? I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm about to go to the bathroom. We were trying to hold it together. As I go to the bathroom, I turn on the light in the bathroom and turn on the water. And I closed the door, ran across the hall to my room to put on some pants because I was determined I was going to tell somebody. Like, I'm about to go tell my grandma. In my head, I was like, I was going to tell my grandma, but she wasn't there. I was going to go tell my aunts. I was going to tell my daddy. I was going to tell somebody. So, as I was getting dressed, I noticed that my panties was wet. My shorts was wet. I was confused. I didn't understand like what was going on. I'm like, well, did I pee on myself or what was going on? You know, at this time I wasn't sexually active, so I didn't know, you know, what I know now about it. And I instantly started feeling, I was hurt because knowing that I knew the person, I was very hurt. I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. Like, I just was so confused about a lot of things. Like, I just wanted to know, like, how long was he doing that to me? Like, we sleep hard. Like, everybody in my family is some heavy sleepers, and I sleep hard. So I'm like, I didn't know if he did more to me. I don't know if he just did what he did. Did I catch him when he first started, or was he been doing it? Like, I was confused about a lot. So I put on my pants and I go back into the hallway, go to the bathroom, and I turned off the light, and I turned off the light and I turned off the water in the bathroom, and I go to the living room, and he's there, and I'm trying to walk out the door, and he was like, where you going? I was like, I'm going down to Mama B house because I need to go and talk to I needed to go and get something. I forgot what I said. But anyways, he blocked the front door, and he was like, you sure I didn't wake you? He asked me again, and I'm like, no. And I kind of like pushed him out the way and took off running down the street. As I'm running down the street, I'm crying, and I look back at the house, and he's standing there in the door with a big smile on his face, like a big cheesy smile, like something was funny. And at the time I didn't feel like anything was funny. So I'm running down the street, and as I'm running down the street to get to my grandmother's house, I see my daddy's car across the way at his best friend's house. And as I see the car or whatever, I'm like, okay, I'm about to just run and go tell him. Then I started thinking, I'm like, I'm not gonna tell him, because I don't want my daddy to go to jail. You know, I felt like if I told and my daddy would have went down there and beat him up, then he would have went back to jail. And you know, I felt like I was thinking about my family at the time. Like, I didn't want my little brother to grow up without a father. I didn't want to grow up without a father, because I mean, we already didn't have our mother there. We lost our grandmother. If I lose my daddy, who else am I gonna have around? So, you know, I started thinking about all these things, so I didn't tell anybody that day. When I made it to my grandmother's house, my aunt actually opened the door, and she said, what's wrong? Because she seen me crying, and I was like, nothing, I fell on the way here. She was like, oh, okay, you know, brushed it off. She was like, oh, clumsy ass, you know, and, you know, she just brushed it off. And I didn't open my mouth, and I wanted to tell somebody so bad, because I just felt uncomfortable, like I was afraid to go back home. And since the incident that day, I didn't go home until my daddy made it home. When we made it there, the person wasn't there anymore. And it's like my whole life changed after that. I was afraid to go to the bathroom by myself, get water by myself, walk down the street by myself. Like, I didn't want to do nothing alone. I felt like I always needed somebody there with me. And I would say that incident really affected me in a way today, because I couldn't let go of knowing. I wanted to know more, like what he was doing, why did he choose me, all kind of stuff like that. Even though he didn't rape me, he still touched me inappropriately. So I felt like, I know that there's people out there who go through the same thing that I go through, who also chose not to say nothing. But I'm here to say that it's not good. Because in each story, if you notice that I told you so far, I haven't spoken up about anything. I didn't speak up about the bullying. I didn't speak up about how my grandma's death affected me. And I didn't speak up about being molested. I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't tell anybody that I was hurting. So it drove me to wanting to commit suicide. And once again, my daddy was gone, and my sister was at her friend's house, and I was in my little mood. I guess I was listening to music or something that really had me moody. So I started thinking about everything. Everything started replaying in my head. From the times when the kids said I was fat, ugly, and slut, gay, and, you know, all these different things. And then thinking about me being touched, me thinking about my grandma not being here, me not having nobody to talk to at the time. And, you know, it just took a toll on me at a young age. I was just like, I didn't want to be here no more. I feel like dying would have just put my mind at rest, because I always was constantly thinking about the same stuff over and over again. So I was determined to kill myself. I grabbed a chair out the living room, brung it to my dad's room. I knew he had a gun, small gun, on top of his closet, and I reached for it. I put the clip in and I stood on a chair. It was like my daddy's bed was on this side and the closet was right here. So I was like in the middle, standing on a chair, and I got the gun to my head, and I'm shaking, like, I'm shaking. And I was like, I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to feel the way I'm feeling no more. So I started counting down. I'm like, 1, 2, I get to 3, and I don't shoot. I'm like, okay. I'm breathing. I'm talking to myself. I'm like, all right, Raven, you're going to do it the next time. So the next time I had in my mind, Raven, you're going to pull that trigger. And I was going to pull that trigger. So I'm counting down. I'm shaking. I'm breathing hard. I'm like, you know, my eyes is blurry. I can't see nothing. Like, it's like I was crying so hard. My eyes is blurry. I'm shaking. So I start counting down. And I'm like, once I get to 3, the chair breaks. Soon as I was about to pull the trigger, the chair break. I hit my head on the closet door, and the gun flew out my hand. And I started to just cry. Like, I just started crying. I was shaking. I was on the floor. I was scared. I was asking myself, like, why I'm not dead? Like, why I'm not dead? Like, why the chair had to break? Like, you know, and I instantly felt like at that moment that it wasn't my time to go. So I picked up the chair. I put it back on the table, put the gun back up on the in the closet, and I went in my room, and I just laid on my bed, like, and just cried. Like, and cried and cried and cried. I guess I cried myself to sleep because when I woke up in the middle of the night, my little sister was laying on side of me in the bed, and my daddy was laying across his bed asleep. I went to the bathroom. I came back out. I started crying again. I ended up going back to sleep. The next day, my dad, knowing him, he was like, y'all always breaking some shit. What happened to the chair, you know? And I came up with a lie saying that I was going to reach for a canned good, and the chair broke. But in my back of my mind, I wanted to tell him that, you know, Daddy, like, I knew where your gun was. I wanted to commit suicide. I didn't want to be here no more. I just wanted to tell him all the pain that I was going through, but I couldn't, because I just felt like he was going to think that I was crazy, and that they was going to try to put me in a home or something, or on the 10th floor, as my people say, mental institution. I didn't want to go there. So I didn't say nothing. Once again, Raven didn't say nothing. She didn't stand up for herself. She didn't tell nobody how she was feeling. Like, and knowing what I know now, like, I was thinking, like, if I would have killed myself that day, and my daddy would have came home and would have seen me laying on this floor dead and my brains everywhere with his gun, a couple weeks or a month or 2 after his mama passed, he lost his daughter on his floor with his gun. Like, I would have messed up his life. No telling how he would have took it. Or even if it was the other way around and my little sister came home first and she would have found me dead on my daddy's floor, how it would have made her feel. She probably would have been bad off today. So it's like, you know, once again, you know, my actions could affect a lot of people. So I didn't say nothing. You know, I never told nobody anything, and I kept it hidden in for a long time. And it's just, you know, it just, I don't know. Like, I just wish that y'all can feel how I feel about all the problems. Like, to some of y'all might think that these problems were like these little bitty problems, and it should have never led me to depression or led me to want to commit suicide, but it did. It happened. It's done. Like, I was there. So basically, I just want to tell to someone out there who's been through some of the things that I've been through that, you know, it's okay and you're not alone. But don't make the same mistakes as I did. It's not opening your mouth and letting somebody know. If you feel like you're depressed about something, you have to share it with somebody else in order to get through it. Because if not, you're going to be 22 years old, probably even older than me, still dealing with the same problems in your past. So I feel like the only way that I can get over all the pain and hurt is if I just share it with somebody, you know? So I feel like if you was drawn to this video and you clicked on it, I feel like it was a purpose that you are going through the same things I'm going through. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to tell somebody something. Don't be like me, please, because I'm still dealing with it to this day. And in order for me to get through it, I felt like I needed to share this story. And I feel like it's affecting me today because recently, probably like a month ago, I was feeling like I was going into a depression stage again. You know, of course, I've been through relationships, and of course that the breakups from those relationships can make you feel depressed, especially if you were dating guys. Like my first boyfriend, I dated him for like 3.5 years, and the second one was only 2 years. And I feel like in both cases, I was talking to guys who, my first boyfriend, we connected over the death of my grandmother, and he lost his grandmother. So it's like, you know, we just connected over the loss of our grandparent, and we became real close. Of course, he cheated, and I had to deal with that breakup, and it wasn't easy. So then I found who was my best friend at the time. I found him, started communicating with him over breakup. We got closer together over the breakup of our exes, which was my first boyfriend. So I felt like in both cases, I felt like I just jumped into relationships because I felt like I couldn't get through my situations on my own. I looked to them to fill me up with love in all the places that I felt like I was unloved. I just wanted to feel love, and I felt like I needed a man to get through certain situations. I needed love to get through certain situations. I felt like I wasn't getting enough of love. That's why I was going through so much, and that wasn't the case. I needed to learn to love myself before I tried to love someone else, and that wasn't the case. I was young. I just got in a relationship. Basically, now I feel like I used the guys that I was talking to. You know, I did love them, but I feel like I used them for their love because I just wanted to feel better. I used their love as a drug, basically, so I can get over the pain. I wanted to just numb the pain, and it doesn't matter. Like, how can I explain this? I feel like I'm just giving y'all a runaround, but I'm trying to explain it, but I didn't want to write it out, and I didn't want to go through it because I just wanted to come to y'all raw about it. Like, so how can I explain this? I feel like, okay, say you're going through a situation and you feel depressed or you stressed out, and some people turn to bottles of alcohol, some people turn to sex, some people turn to drugs. So in my case, I just wanted love. Like, I wanted to feel that sense of love to get over it. I tried everything, really. I tried to smoke to numb my pain. It didn't work. I tried drinking to numb my pain. Yeah, it give you a quick high to get over it for a couple hours or that day, but then the next day you wake up and the pain is still there. So now I realize that no love is stronger than the love of God. Like, he's the only person that can really get you through certain situations. I know that I can't do it on my own. I know that I need him. Like, I know that I need God to get through the situations that I'm going through now. But I feel like my main downfall now, since I'm older, is not being able to let go of the hurt that happened in the past. So I just wanted to let y'all know that depression is real. Bullying is real. Suicidal thoughts is real. People are really out here getting raped and molested. These are real issues, people. There's people out there who really actually went through with killing themselves, and you will never know what go on in their head. Like, our minds, all our minds work differently. Some people can handle certain situations, some others can't. And I just got blessed because I know for a fact if the chair would have never broke, I would have pulled that trigger. I wouldn't be here today sharing my story. I wouldn't be here for my sisters and my brother and my family. I just want everybody to know, including my family, that I was hurting. And I'm sorry that I couldn't open up and tell y'all how I felt. I'm sorry that I wasn't strong enough then to tell y'all, because all of this could have been avoided. But I feel like everything happens for a reason. I feel like me sitting in front of this camera today is a purpose. Like, I'm doing this for a purpose. Like, I'm not doing this just for attention. I'm doing it because I feel like this is the way for me to move on. Like, I thought about it long and hard. I said, oh, I'm not going to get in front of a camera and express how I feel. I'm not going to do it. But I feel in my heart that I needed to do it. I went to sleep with it on my mind. I wake up with it on my mind. I felt like I needed to share it. Because if people knew what really was going on in my head, I felt like they wouldn't want to be my friends, or they wouldn't love me. They would look at me differently. But I'm at the point in my life where I don't care, because I know that I'm a stronger person today than I was yesterday. And I'm definitely a stronger person today than I was 3-4 years ago, that I was in middle school. Like, I was young. I couldn't handle certain situations. I felt like it was a lot. You know, I've seen a lot and been through a lot in my life. That was just some of the main reasons why I was driven to the depression and driven to commit suicide. It was so much more, because we've been through so much growing up, and you know, I feel like I just want to keep moving forward from this day forward. But I'm not gonna keep y'all much longer. I just felt like I just needed to share that. I just wanted people to know that suicidal thoughts is real, depression is real, and if you're going through it right now, I just want to say to you that you're not alone. Go and talk to somebody, get help, because it is not going to get easier if you don't talk to nobody about it. You're not by yourself. And that's it, y'all. So to my family and friends who's watching this, I want to thank y'all so much for always being there for me. My real friends, should I say, for always being there for me, always being there to comfort me. I just want to let y'all know that I love y'all. Even for the people who's not my family and close friends, I just want you to know that I love you, whoever you are, wherever you are. And if you're going through something, I want to let you know that it is okay, and that you're not alone, because God is always with you. Love y'all. Peace.